Hi and a warm welcome to Smart to Drive. Today another video featuring the Tesla Model Y Juniper. This is the long-range all-wheel drive or AWD version. As you can easily tell, it's already pitch black out here. I did mention in the last video that there would be a night test. And that's exactly what we're doing now. For one, we'll look at how the car looks from the outside in the dark and how it looks on the inside in the dark, how well everything is lit up. But more importantly, how safe is it? When driving on dark roads, how well do the assistance systems work, the traffic sign recognition, the illumination, and above all, the matrix LED light? All that in this video. If you're up for it, then let's get started. Let's go. The taillight on the Tesla Model Y Juniper has been completely redesigned, as you can clearly see. I really like it. There's nothing else quite like it from any other manufacturer on the market. We're familiar with a continuous LED light bar from many vehicles by now, but here we really have this indirect illumination. So down here, underneath, behind this edge, is the lighting, and that then shines on this beautiful Tesla lettering, which is what gives it that diffuse look. And what I particularly like is that the road here is illuminated in red. So when you're driving behind the Model Y, it looks really cool, because the cone of red light here on the road is very wide. I'll show it to you again here without the external camera lighting, then you can perhaps see it a bit better. And the license plate light is a nice clear white, not yellow as is often the case, and I actually quite like that. Before we check out the lights up front, I'd say let's open the trunk and see what the lighting is like in there. And this is typical Tesla, just like on the old Model Y where there's one LED mounted up here on the top side. It may only be one, but I personally find it to be the best solution because the cargo is lit from above, and no matter how full you pack the trunk, everything is really lit up brightly enough. There's no lighting on the sides, but I personally don't miss it when the light is up here. Of course, if you have this, what I still find to be a rather impractical parcel shelf from Tesla pulled out, then naturally there's no light down here, and that's the downside of not having any lighting on the sides. But that parcel shelf, I can only recommend this to everyone, just get rid of it. I mean, I took it out of my Model Y a long time ago because it's really not very nice and not well designed in my opinion. But otherwise, the trunk is really well lit. And what's also, I mentioned this in the last video, gotten better is that it just closes more quietly. The motors are smoother and quieter when the trunk lid closes. I quite like that. Let's take a look at the car from the front. Up front, it's of course also very striking. I mean, everyone has seen it by now. On the premium versions, as they're called now, the LED light bar is continuous. There is of course the new Model Y standard now, which only has the lights on the outside and not this middle section. But I think it's really nice. It's eye-catching. Of course, it's always a matter of taste, I think, but it does make quite an impression. And down here we have the low beams, and up top the LED daytime running lights. That actually looks really quite good. If you have the Model Y Performance, which we'll see in the next video, you'd also have a light projection down here with the Plaid logo, which isn't present on this one, so we don't have any light projection here. Still, it does light up. Well, the door sill or the entry area is illuminated a bit when you open the door, but it's nothing spectacular. Then let's first take a look at the rear row of seats and how it's illuminated. And I have to say, it's not all that bright. I mean, I've experienced it being a bit brighter in the car in many other night tests. Maybe that's partly because there's no room for lighting up top due to the panoramic glass roof. We have a small LED light on each of the outer doors, left and right. And there's the ambient lighting, which you can see here. I'll show you that again in a moment without the external lighting. But otherwise, it's sufficient in the back. You can see what you need to see. But it's not super bright, I have to say. Let's take a look at how the interior is lit up in the front. As I just mentioned, we of course don't have the door projection, which is a bit of a shame. But that comes with the performance model. It has to deliver some kind of upgrade after all. And if we take a look in here, then yeah, the illumination here isn't super bright either. Just come along with me for a moment and I'll show you. So, it's not amazing in here either, I have to say. We just have these two small LEDs here, which you can also turn on and off with a touch, but it doesn't create all that much brightness in the interior. What I do like, on the other hand, is the ambient lighting. I'll show you a bit more of that in the infotainment system in a moment. So just hop in and let's take a look at the display. What also hasn't gotten significantly better here is that the buttons and so on barely light up. So if I turn on the lighting here on the display again, you can actually see, let me turn off the external light here. It's very subtle. The steering wheel lights up a little, but it's really very little compared to other manufacturers. almost too minimalistic, so it could be a bit brighter. On the door, we also see the window controls barely light up, so they're minimally illuminated. That's also relatively dim. I don't even know if the camera can capture it at all. It's minimal, but yeah, there's not much to see. Otherwise, it's also really very dark. The footwell, Sep, you can go ahead and shine a light on your feet. That is at least a little bit illuminated, but not very much either. But wait, let me see. I'll turn it on and off again. Yeah, I think you can also control that with the ambient lighting. I'll just show you that on the display now. Let's just go through the menu items. For the night test, the only thing that's really interesting is what we can adjust for night driving. Importantly, of course, is the lighting. Up here, you can turn the lights off. Then we have the parking lights and the low beams. And auto. The auto mode then decides for itself what's needed. And of course, here is the automatic high beam, in this case with the matrix LED light, which means individual pixels can be blanked out when necessary. We'll test that in a moment while driving, and otherwise we have here under lighting all the other necessary settings. The adaptive headlights, we activate them right here. It also says here again that individual pixels are blanked out and so on. Headlight, follow me home lighting, that's for when you get out. So the walkway is illuminated for a little while. Other manufacturers offer more setting options, like for how long the headlights should stay on when you get out and lock or unlock the car or approach the vehicle. I think Tesla could improve that a bit with a software update. Otherwise, here are the dome lights, which you can set to on, off, or auto. You can see it now. When I switch to on, it gets nice and bright in here. And then the footwell lighting, well, you can just turn it on or off. And here we have the option to adjust the brightness of the ambient lighting. We can also turn the ambient lighting off, on, or set it to only at night, and then adjust the colors here. I'll just show you that here as well. When you change the colors, then, yeah, basically the entire LED light strip goes all the way to the back, to the rear row of seats. What unfortunately doesn't work is that the footwell lighting doesn't change color. It's just yellowish, I think. Not a nice white either. So, yeah, I'd say it's so-so. Tesla has improved it a bit, but at least there is ambient lighting, but you can't adjust as much as with some others. But now you can synchronize it with the music so that the LED light pulsates with the music, which is actually pretty cool. Not all manufacturers do that so well. One thing we should also mention is here under display, because there we can, for one, adjust the brightness of the screen, and we can then set the day or night mode. This would be the day mode, then everything is white. Dark mode, which we've had the whole time, or automatic, then the car does it by itself. And we can reduce the blue light. You might see it on the camera, then it's just a bit more yellowish. That's better for the night because you're not so blinded. On the other hand, they say blue light also keeps you a bit awake, and so you might get tired faster. But yeah, that's definitely still possible here. Before we drive off, how good is the camera anyway? We now have a front camera in the new Model Y. You can see if you go back here, we see the rear camera, and here we see the front camera. Yeah, and I have to say there too, for example, even the small BYD Dolphin Surf has a much brighter image in the dark. So if I show the rear camera here, I'll just drive forward a bit so that the brake light goes out, but yeah, it is. Of course, it's all very nice and red, as you saw, because of the tail light. In the back, you can somewhat make out that we're in a gravel parking lot here. The side cameras, the blind spot cameras, are very weak. You can see almost nothing there. And the front camera, now I've swiped it away. Yeah, even though we have the big light on in the front, you can't see too much there either. If I turn off the front light now, then I'd say even less. Yeah. Other manufacturers definitely do that much better. You can check out a few other night tests here on my channel, and you'll see that, unfortunately, it can be done better, and Tesla simply hasn't gotten everything out of it that's possible to get from cameras these days. It's a shame. And then one last thing, the vanity mirrors, which I always show. What are they like in the dark? I'll just flip this one open here. And I find this nice because you're illuminated from the front and you have these two LED strips on the side of the mirror. You can see yourself well in the mirror. I rarely use it in the dark, but if you want to use it, then it's very, very useful and also looks modern here with the magnetic clasp. That definitely works. Then I'd say, let's look outside and check out the light beam. I've now activated the lighting here. I'll turn it off again first so you can see what it looks like without lighting. And now we'll switch to the low beams. And that is, of course, I think, fantastically bright. A nice white. I'm now curious to see how well the roads are illuminated. And what I've already noticed is that, just like the old one, we have no cornering lights here either. You see, I'm turning completely to the left. I'll turn on the lights here, then you can see it. And no matter how I turn, nothing changes about the light beam, so neither cornering lights nor turning lights. But we do have matrix LED lights, which means the pixels will then illuminate the curve a bit better accordingly. So let's just get going onto the country road and test the illumination as well as the assistance systems. Okay, we now see a 50 sign up ahead. I also want to test the sign recognition. We're driving past it now. It recognized the 50 just before the sign. I already noticed that in the last test during the day that the sign recognition happens earlier. I also have the impression that the old Model Y doesn't do that so early. But I think it's good that it happens before the sign. And now we'll just keep driving, take a look at the road illumination. And so far it's okay, I would say. But I don't have the high beams on yet, the automatic ones. Where it definitely had its strengths was the sign recognition, which worked much better in the test you saw on the channel a few days ago, including the digital highway signs. You can check that out in the video description. I'll link the test for you. Now a 30 sign is coming up. It immediately recognized the 30, so Tesla has really improved the sign recognition. The suspension and so on, yes, anyway, I already mentioned that, has definitely gotten better. The brakes have gotten a bit better, but are still quite reserved for the first few centimeters when you step on the brake pedal, I find. Here comes another 30 sign in a moment. Let's see, we're passing it in 10 meters here too, so it really always recognizes it just before the sign. I think that's great. Many cars still do it in a way that they only adopt the speed from the sign onwards. Now the 30 sign is lifted. Did it recognize it? Oh yes, it did. A bit delayed now, but it now said we can drive 100. That's correct. Okay, now a town sign is coming up again, and right after that, the 30 zone, it took that over immediately as well. Very good. That works, so the sign recognition has improved significantly. My Model Y definitely has more problems there, especially on the highway, but also here on this road, it just works really better, especially more proactively, so something was definitely improved there. By the way, we're now driving with the automatic high beams. Now it has dimmed. Let's drive through the town and see if it shines into any windows. Yes, up ahead, theoretically, it would now shine into the house. It's an abandoned little house though. Now let's see. More buildings are coming up soon. It shouldn't necessarily shine into them. But we've already driven past that spot now. Okay, now the 30 zone is lifted. By the way, VW Group vehicles always have problems here. Let's see. Now we're allowed to drive 100. What does the Tesla do? Ah, it recognized it. Okay. So, and now the high beams are on too. And it's really nice and bright up front. Now I'm more satisfied. And then it's also, I think, good. Then the roads are well lit. But I wouldn't say here that it's better than the predecessor. It is, but it was already very good on the predecessor. What I like better is that it's not so streaky anymore. So the light is much clearer. There are no more of these horizontal stripes. So a T-junction is coming up here, and then it should actually reduce the high beams a bit towards the front. Let's see. I'm indicating left here. Everything is still fully illuminated. Yeah, but I don't think with full intensity anymore, but it's still illuminating. Now let's just turn left here, and then we see the road illuminated all the way to the front, and I like that much better than before. That works quite well. Now I'd also like to activate the lane keeping assistant at this point. This is a very narrow country road, where for example the BYDs almost always have trouble keeping the lane. I might not go all the way to 100 because I don't feel so comfortable then. Let's do 90 and then let's see how well it does. But it's doing well so far. It recognized the lane immediately, and in that regard Tesla is still among the better manufacturers. Now it has also dimmed up ahead. Now it's turning the high beams on again. But it's also taking this left turn here, and it's doing that really well. I do have to put my hand on the steering wheel for a moment. But it's doing that very well. Now there's a small construction site up ahead. Let's see what it does, if it gets confused. I'd better intervene there, yes. That wasn't quite right, but no blame. Other cars wouldn't do it any better either. So now you can drive 100 here again. It recognizes it, yes, a bit delayed this time, but it has adopted it. And it also takes this S-shaped curve very well, holds the lane. So as far as lane recognition is concerned, Tesla is still almost leading. The German car manufacturers are also good at that. But the other Asians, for example, have a much harder time. Well, not the other Asians, but the Asians in this case. Tesla isn't Asian, of course. But that works excellently in any case. And you feel really, really comfortable. I'll see up ahead there's a roundabout coming up, what it does there. I'm curious to see if the Tesla reduces the speed more there than my previous model. But so far, it's very good. And now it's holding the lane, driving at the set speed. There's a guardrail on the right, but you don't feel like you need to worry. So it's really very secure in its lane. I wouldn't necessarily drive through here at 100 or faster with the Autopilot, but at around 80 or 90, you actually feel quite comfortable. And that's not the case with all manufacturers on this route, which I really drive regularly with other cars as well. And the high beam assistant is also doing a pretty good job here. I hope some oncoming traffic comes along soon so we can test how well it blocks it out. There we go, speak of the devil. And now you can see it up ahead. The light cone goes dark. It's masking the cars. By the way, I still don't have my hands on the steering wheel. Now the lane is getting wider. Here too, it has masked the cars. By the way, the roundabout is coming up now. It's braking on its own. I'm not doing anything. Very good. I have to move the steering wheel briefly there. What's it doing? Now I'm curious. It drives into it, but it would hit the island here. The old Tesla does that too, and so do almost all the other manufacturers. So unfortunately, there's still hardly any car that can drive through there on its own. But that would be full self-driving, which we don't have in Europe yet. I'll activate the Autopilot again. The lane is much wider here anyway, and it also illuminates the road nicely. Now it's also driving with the high beams on continuously, so that's how it should be. It wasn't activated before, which is why I wrongly complained that it was dark. Now you can also see up ahead how nicely the oncoming traffic is being masked. That's exactly how it should work, perfect. No one is flashing their lights. There's also a car in front of us now, and that too. I'll just drive up a little closer. The acceleration is also excellent on the long range. Now you can see up ahead how nicely everything is being masked. No one is getting dazzled. The high beam is on around the car, but the car itself is practically completely dark. You can see the trees on the left and right are lit up. The 70 sign is lit up. By the way, a sharp left curve is coming up now, and it takes that excellently as well. It also maintains the distance to the car in front perfectly. So I'm very, very satisfied with the sign recognition with the Autopilot, and also with how it uses the high beam assistant. It's excellent. The matrix LED light is top notch. It might not have improved much compared to the predecessor, but it works really excellently. Okay, I think that's it for today's night test video. I don't want to make it too long, but I have to say on the whole, I'm very, very satisfied. A few things have improved. Let's summarize again. The lighting in the exterior lighting has definitely gotten cooler. With continuous light bars, the diffuse light. I especially like that the road is illuminated in red. And in the interior, we at least have ambient lighting now, even if it's not the greatest thing ever, I'd say. The footwell lighting is still very, very weak, and you can't change its color and so on. But all in all, it's definitely an evolution from the predecessor, the Model Y, definitely. And when it comes to the traffic sign recognition assistant, it has also shown here that it has improved. And the Autopilot is definitely excellent as well. But it was actually already quite good before. I haven't really noticed too many differences there. I would say that in my rating system, the Tesla gets an A- here, I'd say. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please feel free to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Activate the little bell and you'll be notified in the future when there are more videos. And remember, I'll also be testing the Model Y performance soon. There might be another night test for that, but maybe not, because I don't think much should have changed there. But if it has, I'll do a night test for that too. Otherwise, there will be a very, very detailed comparison to the old Model Y performance. And in the video description, as always, you'll find my Tesla referral link. If you want to order a Tesla, you can get another discount here. For this year, the discount has unfortunately already been used up, but starting in January, you can use the link again. And for the GHG quota, you can currently get 300 euros with my link if you apply for the 2025 and 2026 GHG quota this year. So if you buy a Tesla or another electric car this year, feel free to just check it out, take a picture of your vehicle registration, collect some free pocket money. It's that simple. Until next time, take care and bye-bye. This video is brought to you by Shop for Tesla. At shopfortesla.com, you can get lots of accessories for your Tesla. Just check out the website. Down in the video description, you'll find the discount code SMART2Drive, which gets you a 5% discount on every one of your orders. Happy shopping!